Hey everyone, welcome back to another web novel review. Today we're talking about I Became the Youngest Disciple of the Martial God, a story about Luan Bednicker, the youngest son of a prestigious house, who starts with nothing and ends up as a disciple of the greatest martial artist of all time. But there's a twist. Let's dive into this roller coaster of martial arts, destiny, and time travel. Luan Bednicker, born into the powerful Bednicker family, is considered a failure by everyone around him. Despised for his lack of blessings, he wanders the world seeking death, away from the contempt of his clan. That is, until Baek Nogwang, the greatest martial artist of all time, decides to take him on as his disciple. Luan's journey begins as he trains under this perfect superhuman, hoping to find his place in the world. Set in a world where martial arts reign supreme, the novel introduces a blend of wuxia and fantasy elements. The concept of strength, lineage, and the cultivation of martial arts drives the story forward. As Luan trains under Baek Nogwang, he's exposed to powerful techniques, intense training, and high-stakes battles. The world feels lived in, with its rules, hierarchy, and society rooted in the tradition of martial arts. Luan is a character you can't help but root for. He's hardworking, determined, and despite his early struggles, he's a genuinely likable protagonist. The way he pushes forward, even when the odds are against him, makes his journey compelling. His growth from a rejected son of a powerful house to a disciple of a legendary martial artist is inspiring. And while the story may follow a well-worn path, his character brings something fresh to it. While the side characters are decent and contribute to the narrative, some of them feel underdeveloped. Luan's father, in particular, is one of the more interesting characters, with his own internal struggles and complex relationship with Luan. However, some of the other characters, like Mir, Hector, and Saren, feel like they exist to support Luan's development, rather than having their own arcs or depth. They're good, but could use more screen time and focus. Here's where the novel takes a turn that left many readers frustrated: the power of time regression. While it's not uncommon in stories to use time travel or regression as a plot device, the way it's handled in this story feels like a cheap shortcut. Luan gets to go back in time and undo everything he's been through, which makes all the emotional buildup and character moments feel hollow. The connections Luan forms, the sacrifices characters make, and the growth he experiences, none of it has lasting consequences because the timeline is reset. This diminishes the emotional stakes for the reader and removes a lot of the tension from the plot. What's particularly frustrating is how the time regression undermines the emotional weight of certain moments. For example, the relationships and sacrifices that characters make seem meaningless when Luan can just go back and change things. All those heartfelt conversations, the bonds he shares with others, and the emotional growth he undergoes are erased. It feels like the author robbed the readers of their emotional investment, which is a big letdown for those who got deeply invested in Luan's journey and the people he encounters. Despite the time regression frustration, the martial arts action is top-notch. The training, the techniques, and the battles are well-paced and exciting. Luan's journey to becoming a martial master under Baek Nogwang is filled with intensity, as he faces powerful foes and challenges that test his resolve. The fight scenes are vivid, strategic, and satisfyingly brutal, giving fans of martial arts fiction something to look forward to. The story explores themes of growth, sacrifice, and the consequences of one's actions. Luan's struggle to break free from his family's expectations and his desire to prove his worth is relatable and inspiring. However, the use of time travel undermines these themes, as it removes the lasting impact of sacrifices and choices. The idea that actions should have consequences is weakened when Luan can just undo his mistakes. I Became the Youngest Disciple of the Martial God is a solid martial arts story with a likable protagonist, exciting battles, and an intriguing mentor-student dynamic. However, the use of time regression as a plot device undermines the emotional stakes and character growth. While the novel has its ups and downs, it's still a fun read for fans of martial arts and wuxia. Just be prepared for some frustrating moments as the story resets itself a few too many times. What do you think of the time regression plot twist? Does it take away from the emotional depth for you, or do you think it adds an interesting layer to the story? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe for more web novel reviews. Catch you next time.